to a Thursday edition of Morning Scone, presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Do business with someone you know, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. All right, let's see. Excuse me. Big day yesterday. The NFC South got a shake-up. Baker Mayfield now has been traded to the Carolina Panthers. So that, Vegas did adjust Carolina's win total by a game. They went from 5.5 to 6.5 at DraftKings. Did see some sevens, depending on which sports book you're looking at, but you're right there. Basically a game and a half. So not a dramatic difference, which is interesting to say that Baker isn't a drastic improvement over Sam Darnold. It certainly feels that way, but a couple of former, high first-round draft picks. Baker number 1 overall. Darnold went 3, I think, to the Jets. But they'll battle it out. Actually, they're not going to battle it out. It's Baker's team for sure. They brought him there to be the starter, and he's basically in that 5th and final year of his contract. And Baker took a pay cut, and Cleveland basically decided to pay agreed to pay $10 million of the salary. So Carolina's only going to pay about 5 or 3.5, I think. So for Carolina, you give up a conditional 5th round pick. You pay you pay Baker $3.5 million. So it's kind of like the deal the Saints did with Jameis last year, like a 1-year prove-it deal. Let's test drive the car, see if we want to buy it. So we'll see how the season goes. Of course, that impacts 3 games that the Saints play, because the Saints will play Cleveland. And so now for certain Baker won't be there, even as a contingency. And you play 2 games against Carolina, week 3 in Carolina, and then week 18, the regular season finale is against Carolina in the Dome. So, big news there for the NFC South as Baker Mayfield traded from Cleveland to Carolina. And then Zion did, in fact, sign his extension yesterday on his birthday, his 22nd birthday. So Zion is locked into the Pelicans for another 5 years. On his max deal. That's great to see. He's last night on Scone and T, I know T-Bob used the example of Joel Embiid. The Sixers, there was a lot of thought that Embiid was a bust early, injury prone. The Sixers really brought him along slowly and back from injury slowly, and there was a lot of concern with his foot that he might be Greg Oden, and I'd say that's worked out nicely for Joel Embiid and the 76ers, as he's turned into a legit MVP candidate and an elite player. So if Zion comes back and can stay healthy, there's no reason to think he won't be in that upper echelon of players in the NBA here over the life of this contract. So we all hope for that. 22 years old. He's a baby. He's got a long NBA career ahead of him, provided he stays healthy, and hopefully it's all in New Orleans and includes a bunch of championships. So Zion does, in fact, re-sign with the Pelicans. It is, of course, worth noting, though, that, Anthony Davis signed a second contract with New Orleans. Chris Paul signed a second contract with New Orleans. The nature of today's NBA, though, is that if guys sign that second contract, they don't love where they are, they stomp and pout and cross their arms and ask to be traded. So it's great that he's on board. Go win some games. I do love what he said, though. He said he wants to prove that he's a winner. So one of the really cool things is you have a chance to do it at a place where it's never been done before. So, you could put your stamp on this team the way that, Tim Duncan put his stamp on those Spurs teams, the way that Steph has put his stamp on those Warriors teams. Kobe on his Lakers teams, and Michael on his Bulls teams. I'm not saying that he's going to be a top 5 all-time player in the history of the NBA, but when you look at at these great runs, who was the catalyst, and he's got a shot to be that for New Orleans. So really cool. All right, we'll say some good mornings here. Y'all know the drill. Fire away. Truax, what's good, man? Stephen Fry, Lowell Cormier. Hey, Dad. Good morning. Hayden Presley, Kelly Gross, Samuel Merrifield. Any baseball transfer portal news? Nope, been quiet, man. Remember, July 1st, that was Friday, was the deadline for players to enter the portal and have immediate eligibility. So you probably won't be hearing any more news about players going into the portal. That should have been settled. What you could still hear is LSU adding more players. But my guess is that's probably going to quiet for a little bit, namely with, I mean, if you got some guys in the portal with Team USA going to the Netherlands, so it doesn't have to be immediate or imminent. So, yeah, I don't think you're going to hear much right now. And I think for Jay, he's getting a lot of the freshman signees on campus for summer school to begin workouts and then getting ready for the fall semester and fall baseball. So the draft is the next big thing, right? I mean, that's who asked that question. I think it was Samuel. Yeah, I mean, the big thing, Samuel, is the next thing is the draft. So you want to see how the draft goes too, because then you'll have a much better sense of how many spots you're going to have to how many spots you're going to have to add. So, let's see. Jeff McKibben, Tyler Alexander, Brian Broom, Brian Wynn, good morning. James Pujol, good morning, Matt. Any word on the rehab for lefty Coleman? Yeah, Javen Coleman, supposedly going well. I don't think you'll see him throw in the fall, but he should be ready to go for the upcoming season. The good news is that it was early enough in the season to where he had the surgery to where he can rehab it and get back for next year. So, at what point do you ramp him up? Is he back throwing starter innings again at the beginning of the season? Maybe not, but a lot of times guys come back stronger from Tommy John and throw harder and better. I mean, they got a more stable arm after the surgery. So, but yeah, supposedly all's on track there. Trivia: Carter, Pat Houston, Kirk Taylor. Good morning. Wouldn't be scared of any Baker. Brant Roban, morning, Scone. Do you think the Saints can take down Burrow and company this season? Would you be upset if Burrow had a good game and beat the Saints? Yes, I would. I'd be pissed. Like, do I think that the Bengals can win in New Orleans? Yes, I do. And I think they will win in New Orleans. And I think you're going to have, 15, 20,000 people in Burrow jerseys cheering for the Bengals. And it pisses me off. I wanted to see that game we got I love Joe Burrow. I mean, of course I do. I'm wearing a freaking purple and gold Heisman shirt. I love Joe Burrow. I want him to have great success. But when it comes to NFL team success, the Saints are and always will be my team. I never want to see them lose a game. So if they lose that day, yeah, I'll be pissed off. And I think they will. I was kind of hoping that game was going to be the London game because I know what's going to happen. You're going to have so many people from Baton Rouge drive down to New Orleans wearing Bengals gear and going to that game cheering for the Bengals. And I don't want to see it. Spurge, what's up? Blake Estes, good morning from Daytona Beach. So funny with the Master Volume on Scone and Tea last night. So if you go watch Scone and Tea, the first, 5 minutes of the show, maybe longer than that, our volume was very low. Despite the fact that our headphone mic, our headset mics were up and all that sort of stuff, the master volume was all the way down. So I was I'm looking over at the switchboard. It was T-Bob and I are on the show, and Musso was teching it, and I'm like, what's going? I look over and I'm like, oh, Jesus! Just turn the master volume up, and everybody got blared out. Oh man. Brian Kelly, the GOAT, LSU getting a big wide receiver tomorrow. Look out. So I know that there's a 5-star wide receiver who's set to announce tomorrow. Seems to be a lean for Miami or A&M, as I understand. But shoot, if LSU can snag him away from the two biggest NIL spenders, that's impressive. Brett Dagro, good morning. Strong Side, good morning. Dat Cajun, come on, Matt. You comparing Zion, who has not played an entire season after 3 years, to those guys' potential equals you haven't done expletive yet. No, Dat Cajun. All right. The worst part of my job is when people don't listen and don't actually hear what you said. Okay. I'm not comparing him to those people. I'm not saying he's Michael or Kobe or any of the other people I said. Tim Duncan. I said he Zion's words was that he wants to prove he's a winner. Well, instead of taking the path like Kevin Durant did, where you keep jumping all around looking for a positive landing spot, he's taken the approach where he wants to put his stamp on a team, and he will have the chance to do that at a place that hasn't won. The same way that Tim Duncan did in San Antonio, the same way that Steph did in Golden State, the same way that Giannis has done in Milwaukee, places that weren't winners, and you can tie directly the success to those people. I'm not saying he is them. I'm saying he has the opportunity to be them, because if the Pelicans do wind up winning, you know why they did. Get the earwax out and pay attention. They're trying to piss me off this early on a Thursday, I swear to God. What is confusing about what I said, Dat Cajun? What is confusing? I didn't say he's those guys. I didn't compare his results to those. He said he wants to win. I said he's got the opportunity to do that in New Orleans instead of, hey, I'm going to jump ship and go out to LA and join up with LeBron and AD. And the Embiid comparison is a good one. And Embiid still doesn't want anything. But that's a guy who many had labeled injury prone and thought he was going to be a bust early in his career because of the injuries, and he's turned out to be really good. So there's precedent to say, yeah, he can get this thing sorted out and be a really good player. So let's see it. When he's been on the floor, he's been transcendent. I mean, the NBA has never seen anything like him when he's been healthy. Let's see if he can stay healthy. Yes, those are ifs, but come on, man. Jesus. Cliff Nelson. Don't get in the way of this freight train, bro. Cliff Nelson, good morning. Good food and drinks at Oliver Twist. Yes, sir. Always good to see you, man. Appreciate you coming out as always. Yeah, man, I had, so we did the show and I didn't have dinner, so I stayed and ate afterwards. I ordered it was like a grilled chicken club, and they had some type of salt, like tangy sauce on it. It was really good, man. Food at Oliver Twist is great. I mean, that's a really good spot if you want a lunch spot. They have a lunch menu. If you're there, kind of that Perkins, Blue Bonnet Essen area. And obviously it's good for dinner and drinks and all that sort of stuff too. Wendell Norman, good morning. Let's see, Brian Kelly, the GOAT. The wide receiver got like 4 crystal balls here, so we'll see. Okay, we'll see. Let me get his name, hang on. Anybody know his name? Post it. Sorry, I'm trying to find this kid's name. Y'all know I'm not the recruiting guy. I mean, I am very, very much forthcoming with that. I'm not the one following recruiting rankings and commitments. I generally don't care. Like, hit me up. Is it Jaylen Brown? There it is, Jaylen Brown. Hit me up in February, but I'll know what I need to know then. Jaylen Brown is the kid's name. He's a 5-star receiver. He's the number 4 wide receiver in the country, the number 29 overall player in the country. He's out of Miami, out of Gulliver Prep in Miami, and he's going to commit tomorrow. So too is Dante Moore, by the way. So Dante Moore is the 5-star quarterback out of Michigan, who's going to announce tomorrow. So LSU's in the mix there as well. So let's see. Steve Wiltfong picked him to LSU. I'm looking at his profile right here. Let's see. Yeah. 75% say LSU, 25% say Miami. LSU, Michigan, Florida State, Miami, Arkansas, all in there. We'll see what he does. So Jalen Brown and then Dante Moore, the 5-star quarterback, is also set to commit. So we'll see what he picks. Dante Moore. Shoot. Sorry. Yeah, that'd be interesting if they get Dante Moore. 5-star quarterback out of Michigan. Let's see. He's mocked or he's crystal ball to Oregon. LSU, Oregon, Michigan, Notre Dame, A&M. He's a 5-star, the number 4 quarterback in the country, number 12 overall player in the country, the number 1 player in Michigan, 6'2", 210. He'll commit tomorrow. So a couple of big fish are going to make their announcements tomorrow. All right, shout out to Brock, as always, Banner's Orthopedic Clinic, brortho.com, of course, Hudco Roofing, hudcoroofing.com. Do business with someone you know. Hudco Roofing, hudcoroofing.com. As a matter of fact, let me go ahead and post this Hudco link. Y'all, yesterday afternoon, it was absolutely dumping rain. I'm telling you, if you haven't had your roof replaced in if it's been 10 years or more, it's been 10 years or more. God, it's so worth just having us come do an inspection. It's free. Just let someone get up on your roof. The alternative of, you don't even have to be home. The alternative of seeing water spots and then, you're, not only are you replacing the roof, you're potentially replacing parts of your ceiling and drying out insulation and God. Anyway, just let us come do a no obligation roof inspection. I pinned the link, Hudco Roofing, hudcoroofing.com. All right, Tyler Brooks, what's up? First time from West Monroe. All right, Tyler Brooks. That's why we do this. Look, we're today's episode 15. What episode are we on? 1566, 1,566 consecutive days, and we got a new first timer. That's awesome. Welcome to the party. I've been following you pretty much every show since I discovered you on the way home from Hoover a while back. Absolutely love your coverage and analysis of LSU baseball. It's definitely on point. Keep doing what you do, brother. Go Tigers. Thank you, Tyler. Appreciate that, man. Very much appreciate the kind words. Thanks for joining us this morning, man. Jason Horn, Ryan Amanda Guidry, what's up? Samuel Merrifield, Matt, is it unrealistic to feel Jameis will tear it up in the league this year? Because I feel he will, and the Saints may take the South. I don't think that's unrealistic, Samuel. I think I've been more bullish on Jameis than most people, quite honestly, if you followed along over the past few years. So I do think it's not only a possibility, but a probability. I think he will have a great season. We've seen Carmichael call plays successfully before. We saw Jameis last year through the first 9 games, the first 7 games. We saw him really curtail the turnovers, intentionally being more cautious with the ball. I think he would have continued to open it up more as the season goes along. You add Michael Thomas, Jarvis Landry, Chris Olave. You're going to miss Kamara for 6 games, but a healthy offensive line, Kamara for, the other 11 games. I just think they're better. So, yeah, I think he's going to have a really good year. Can they take the South? I think a big part of that's going to depend on Tom Brady. That sounds obvious to say, but Tom Brady's pushing 45 years old now, man. It's like at some point, he's going to regress. It's going to happen at some point. When does it happen? It's with Godwin's injury, when will he be back? Remember, he got injured against the Saints late in the season, so you're going to miss that receiver for part of the season. Gronk retires. Antonio Brown went AWOL. You still got Mike Evans. If they sign Russell Gage, you keep taking weapons away from Brady. How much more effective will it be? So, can they take the South? Sure they can. I'm not sure I would bet on it this year. But I do think the Saints are a playoff team. I do. Let's see. Greg Phillips, what's good, man? Scotty Mack, what's up? Let's see. Dylan Landry. Let's see. Morgan might be induced by Wednesday, if not sooner. All right. Ellie James Landry will make her grand entrance next week. That's awesome, Dylan. Congrats, man. We'll be saying prayers for Mama and Baby for safe delivery and a growing Morning Scone family. That's so exciting, man. When a lot of y'all who've been regulars for so long are announcing growing families and stuff, that's awesome. So we'll be keeping you in our prayers all week, man. Keep us updated, okay? I'm sure you will, but please do. Ryan Jackson, good morning. Stay hydrated in this heat. Will do, man. Devin Steve, Scone Brook. What's up, Devin? Shelby Kelly, Jay was on Matuk's show last night. Never get tired of hearing that guy talk baseball. He obviously has a concise plan to get his program right. He is, I know we've done this comp often, but he is the closest thing to Saban with respect to attention to detail that I've seen here since Saban. Again, I'm not saying he's Nick Saban. I'm saying he's the closest thing we've seen here to Nick Saban since Nick. Just maniacal energy, work ethic. I mean, I told y'all when the season ended, it was Jay who hopped on a plane and went and saw Christian Little in Nashville. Jay hopped on a plane and went to Florida to go see Tommy White. Like, that doesn't really happen, man. That doesn't really happen in baseball recruiting. The head coaches aren't often the ones jet setting around the country to go see prospects. That your recruiting coordinator goes to the showcase events to scout players, and that's kind of how that works. So, I mean, the fact that Jay was doing that before he even hired a staff tells you what you need to know, man. Let's see, Brad David. Whatever happened to Eric Gilbert? Still never heard an honest answer about why I left LSU. Yeah, so, he will be draft eligible after this season. He transferred to Georgia and then obviously left Georgia as well. And you heard Kirby Smart say that they wanted Eric to get healthy and get right and all that sort of stuff. So Brad, it's not really hard when you really think about the circumstantial evidence that you've seen. It's not hard to figure out what's happening there. Just take a second and think about it. It's not hard. Spurge, big 40 tomorrow. Yeah, man. So tomorrow is my 40th. I will be 40 tomorrow. Had the New York trip a couple of weeks ago because we couldn't get out of town this weekend. But yeah, man. Just another day in these parts. I don't know. Someone asked me yesterday, do you feel, last days in your 30s? I'm like, just a number. I get it. It's a big milestone birthday, but anyway. Let's see. Greg Self, Dat Cajun, Trivia Carter. When will E-Rock send me some cookies? Hey, Trivia, that's on you. That's between you and E-Rock, brother. That's between you and her. All right. You message her. She's got your address. She sends you stuff every year. I'm sure she will, but you've also had to be very persistent for months to get all the stuff over the years. But yes, I'm sure she will. Migo Tez, you see we're favored for a 5-star receiver out of Miami over Miami. That's who we were just talking about. Yeah. He's set to make his announcement tomorrow. I heard it was I had understood that it was like a Miami or Texas A&M decision. But if LSU snags him out of Miami, that's awesome, man. That'd be huge. Pat Usman, Matt, where will y'all go out to eat for the big birthday dinner? Maybe my wife and I will join. Remember, her birthday is 7/8. That's awesome, Pat. I don't know what Erica has planned yet. So we haven't talked about it. I don't know what she's got planned. So, but happy birthday to your bride as well. That's awesome. Let's see, Brent, with the basketball team probably not going to be allowed in the tournament this season, does anything really count this season besides pride for the game and the school? Well, Brent, I'll put it to you this way. I mean, the guys playing all have something to play for, right? The guys are all trying to put on a showcase for the next level. So every player who has next level ambitions, which if you come to a place like LSU, no matter what sport, you have that ambition. They all have have that to play for. Number one, and and I'll also remind you, Brant, the NCAA moves painstakingly slow on these things. So my my concern is that the NCAA will do this season exactly what they did last season. Remember, we didn't find out the NOA dropped like the week before Selection Sunday. You know what I mean? So it's like, and then they fired Will Wade. I mean, they could have dropped it at any point. They wait until a week before the tournament. I just believe that if the NCAA is just going to stick it to LSU, and it's not a woe is me, they hate my school type of thing. I mean, LSU was defiant, and they were. LSU was very defiant with the Will Wade thing for 3 years. And if this is the way the NCAA is going to try to make an example out of LSU, I won't be surprised if they do it. So. Over under 2 sacks for Davenport this year on Baker. Under. Davenport's got to prove he can stay on the field first, and Baker's mobility, I think, allows him to, to avoid some of those pressures. I'd go way over, by the way. Getting him on the ground, we'll see. Eugene Sutherland, top of the morning. That shirt kicks ass. Yeah, man. Seriously, I get asked about this shirt so often. My guy Hunter Torito over at X Design did this shirt. Yeah, it's phenomenal. It's a fantastic shirt. I love it. It's one of my favorites. H. Willie, everyone knows about Butte. Do you think Brian Thomas makes a big sophomore leap? The guy that I would watch out for, H. Willie, is Chris Hilton. And coaches tip their hand sometimes. And the fact that Brian Kelly has specifically pointed out Chris Hilton a couple of times tells you how impressed he is with Hilton's athleticism. We know he's got it. I mean, so sometimes coaches value different skill sets. So I'm not saying Brian Thomas won't have a big breakout season, but you have your givens, right? You've got Butte, Jack Besh will be in the mix, Jeray Jenkins is back for another year. And then you look at, who could be next. Well, of all those guys, Brian Thomas is similar in skill set to someone like Besh. Chris Hilton as a game breaker is impressive, man. So anyway, let's see. The Bucks are playing first place schedule this year. So yes, they are, but I don't put a ton of stock in that. And I know it sounds weird, but it's true, they are. But they were last year too. And I don't think, no, that's not true because the Saints won at 20. Year to year, so for example, the Saints win the division, Drew Brees retires. If the opposing teams that played the Saints in their corresponding spot in the schedule, which is really 3 games, right, or 2 games, you're playing against the other 3 teams in the NFC that finish in the corresponding spots. So 3 of your games are against teams that finish in first place that you're not playing the whole division. Well, when you have year-to-year turnover, that can be drastically different. Think about someone that drew the Saints last year. The Saints were a first place team and certainly didn't look like it last year when you're playing, Trevor Siemian, right? So, I mean, yes, but I don't always put a ton of stock into that. But yes, you're right. You have her ear every day whispering it. That's not going to be top of mind trivia. Sorry. Hey, babe. You want to watch Panda just to make sure she doesn't scamper off and drop a Tootsie Roll on the carpet. I did take them out. Patrick Ramos, does it worry you having majority out-of-state guys for recruiting in the area of transfer portal and NIL? Well, Patrick, I'd be lying if I said like if I said you don't need Louisiana kids, I'd be lying. Of course you do. Let me see how they finish this class with the best prospects in the state. I think it's also to be expected that you'd have a heavy out-of-state influence in this class because Brian Kelly has been recruiting nationally at Notre Dame, so a lot of his experience and a lot of his relationships aren't necessarily here. So I get that, but you would expect over time that those relationships will build. But let me see how the rest of this class, finishes out. So I guess there's a two-part answer to that question. You got to get in-state kids, and I need to see them do that. But they're good players all over the country, and Brian Kelly's going to lean into the relationships he has. So you get a 5-star receiver out of Miami tomorrow. Like, am I bummed that it's not a 5-star from Louisiana? No. I mean, it's the Jamal Adams, Hootie Jones thing. People were so bummed when LSU didn't get Hootie Jones and he went to Alabama. Well, LSU offered Hootie Jones because he was a 4-star from Louisiana, and you have to offer a 4-star from Louisiana. But the guy that really wanted was Jamal Adams, and they got him. And who ended up better there? So, Tim Gotro, Julia Kaolelopono. How did I do, Julia? Kaolelopono. Or is it Kao? Are there 2 syllables there or one? Cow or Kao? Lelopono. Do you think Baker will have to win the job from Darnold? Nope. It is Baker's job. They brought him in to be the starter. They brought him in to be the day 1 starter. He will start this season. Sam Darnold will be gone after that contract's over next year. And it gives them time to bring Matt Corral along slowly. Basically gave them options. Hi, Pandy Poop. Pandy. Pandy. Panda. No. Ellie. Ellie Mae. No. No. Okay. Strong side. I take it T-Bob didn't like the whiskey last night. So no. So T-Bob was not drinking the Still Austin. So Matt, the one of the owners over at Oliver Twist, before the show started, came and was like, "Hey, you want to mess with T-Bob?" I'm like, hell yeah. He's like, there's this Chinese liquor called whatever it was. He's like, it's repulsive. It's one of the worst things ever. But it's in this really ornate bottle, this very fancy packaging. So people see it, they order, but it's terrible. It's like rubbing alcohol. It's awful. I was like, you want to give it to him? I'm like, yeah. So Matt brought the bottle over, got T-Bob real. I said, go back and watch Scone on TV if you missed it yesterday. It's like right at the beginning. And so he got him all excited. T-Bob's talking about the bottle. Like he's trying to pump it up a little bit. And I know what's coming. So he takes that first sip and his face just goes to like, it was hilarious. And he sat there and drank the whole glass. I couldn't believe it. But anyway, yes, but that was not the whiskey. The whiskey last night was Still Austin, the cask strength. Panda, don't you do it. Panda's been using our rug as a toilet. Don't you do it. Got my eye on you. You literally just talked to her after reading my comments, didn't say anything. Trivia because it's not top of mind. That's how easily I forget because I don't care about you getting the birthday Hershey bar, whatever, cookies from Drew's party. I don't care. I told you, that's a you thing. Will there be a clip of the Joey Chestnut rant posted today that needs to be shared? Yeah, I can do that. I'll do that. If you missed it yesterday on AFR, I had a little rant about it. So Joey Chestnut put the kid in a chokehold, and then apologized, said his actions were too aggressive. Like, in what reality does someone who breaks the law, runs up on stage, like in an era right now, in a culture where there's gun violence and people are always on edge about that, and that kid gets to feel like he's been the victim, bro. Lucky it wasn't me on that stage. Kid would have bled a lot. Over under 3,500 yards for Baker this year. Scone. I'll go over. Still got DJ Moore. And remember, you're playing 17 games. You're basically saying, well, he averaged 200 yards passing a game. I'll say yeah. Eugene Sutherland interview with Coach Jay the other day was an example of what you spoke of when it comes to taking advantage of these so-called dog days of sports content. Well done. Normal guy, Matt. I know that Dante won't commit to LSU, but what are the chances tomorrow? I have no idea. I'm not the guy that knows that. I've never talked to Dante Moore. I don't know him at all. I don't know anyone involved in his recruiting. I'm just not on the phone saying, hey, where's this kid going? I don't know. True. A couple more. Brant Roban, what was the kid protesting about the hot dog contest? It was an animal rights thing. Randall Offrecht, in the new work reality, we are all supposed to live. Everyone is the victim. I'm not going down that path, but like woke, liberal, conservative. I don't care. Like but you don't get to be an idiot and have no consequences to your actions. So that's life. Pat Usman, any whiskey bourbon lovers out there like Still Austin can easily have my bottle. CS, only 2 pours from the neck is gone. The cash strength. So that's interesting, Pat. I really, really liked their straight bourbon whiskey, the white label. What we tried last night was the cash strength, which was the black label. And the first 2 sips out of it, I got like coffee bean flavor, dark chocolate. Like, it was not very good. But as it sat there, because I wasn't going to finish it, as it sat there, during the show and opened up over the next 20, 30 minutes, like it got better. It did get better. But it is young. Like I looked at the back, it's age stated. It says it's aged at least 2 years. That's just too immature to bottle after 2 years. That's their straight bourbon whiskey I think is fantastic. The cash strength, I was not impressed. Let's see, B1NG James. Over under you eating 5 hot dogs in 3 minutes. Scone. James, you'd be better setting the over under me eating 5 hot dogs in 3 years. I can't tell you the last time I ate a hot dog. I'm not shoving 3 hot dogs down or 5 hot dogs down my throat in 3 minutes. There's no chance. Literally zero. Under. Take the way under. Take the 0. All right. Ooh. Man. Missed a couple here. News on the LSU quarterback race? No, Jason, not till I get on the field, man. Any major purchases coming to celebrate 40? No, David. Shelby, Jay said they have no shot at 5 or 6 guys. He said 4. I said 6. Michael Cook, what's going on, man? Jerry DeLucky, morning, Matt. I know he's great. I really hope the Pels don't go after Durant. Pels have a good young nucleus. They're developing good culture. Durant likes to leave after a couple of years. Yeah, I don't think they're going to get Durant anyway, but if you can get him, get him. He's still Kevin Durant. Daniel Sinets, what's up? Scotty Mack, with your 40th tomorrow, have you received your AARP invite? No, sir, not yet. Thankfully, got a few more years. Mark Vitanovich, what's good? Who would you rather have at quarterback in the NFC South, Mayfield or Winston? I would take Jameis. Shelby, thoughts on the contract for Zion? But I think they're similar. Thoughts on the contract for Zion? No 5th-year player option. Great for the Pels, that's true. Griff went out of his way to praise B.I. and his dedication to the Pels. Yeah, look, it was evident. And it's not, but Shelby, it's also not to say that they didn't feel those calls. They didn't make those calls. And maybe you were told thanks, they were told thanks, but no thanks. And that's why now you can say, oh yeah, B.I. Like, you don't know what happened from last Thursday to yesterday that could have altered that conversation. I mean, the entire national media that covers the sport was talking about the Pelicans as a possibility, and they weren't doing that just as plucked from the air. Who's expected to carry the load in the backfield for LSU this year? I think they're hoping that it's John Emery. Joey's trying not to get canceled, but woke. I just don't care. God, you gotta stop paying attention to all this stupid crap, man. Make your own decisions. Live your own life. Kirk Taylor, when is SC Media Days? We leave a week from Sunday, so a week from Monday is when it starts. And are y'all going to be there? We'll always be there, Kirk. Heck yeah, man. All right, I think we are done. Over under Winston 4,500 yards. I will go over. If he stays healthy, I don't think there's any reason why he wouldn't bump up on a 5,000 yard season in a 17-game NFL schedule. All right, y'all, we're done. I got to bounce. LSU Daily. If you have not done so yet, please subscribe up to LSU Daily. AFR at 3. We'll look forward to seeing y'all then. Have a great day. Peace.